Hi, I'm Dominic Esposito, the drill instructor, and welcome to Drill Instructor TV. On this episode of the Boot Camp Pool Academy, we're going to actually do a live class right here at the Super Billiard Expo. And so, as if you were here, I'm going to bring this to you, okay? We're going to actually focus on this class on the subject of aiming. And we're going to look at various tools and ideas and devices that can be utilized in order for you to have hands-on control of how you aim in both practice and as well as competitive situations. So we're going to actually go into the studio. We have a lot of players with us here, and we're going to have a really good time, okay? So welcome aboard.
What are we going to do when we get back?
This was my teacher and my coach, Mr. Tom Parker. 5 years of formal instruction with him, and at the age of 19 years old, I became a professional pool player. Through those years of formal training and playing, we're going to apply it now to the Boot Camp Pool Academy. So let's get started. Okay, we have a question on the floor from Steve. Steve, where are you from? From Philly? Nice to meet you, Steve. Steve has asked a question: how do you know where the diamond is on a corner pocket? Now, the reason this is such an important question is because when you do kick shots or bank shots and you intend to either kick the ball into the corner pocket or bank the ball into the corner pocket, you need to aim correctly with the system that you use where the component to the pocket is on the right ball track. Are we clear? So the first thing that we're going to do is learn how do you measure the position of the diamond for the corners. So let's look at this for a moment. Look at the distance, if you would, from the tip of the cue from the diamond. I'm going to keep my finger here. Then I'm going to move it down one more. You'll notice it never changed. I'm going to move it down one more time. And that looks really nuts. So normally when I ask somebody, where is the diamond on a corner pocket? Put your finger over there. Where would you think it is? Okay, good. Step away. You're wrong. Where would you think it is? Okay, so you're his friend. You're both wrong. Okay, now, that's okay though, but that's why we're here, because learning this is going to radically change how you kick and bank to the corner pockets. So watch this. Keep my finger right there, and that's the measurement right there. There is the diamond of a corner pocket. So, anytime you're going to plan on making a shot to a corner pocket, when I measure, that's the point I measure. I don't care about any of this. I mean, once the ball passes that, it's where I wanted it anyway, right? So I'm not interested in what's going on back here. I only want to be concerned with that. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cue ball and I'm going to put it right here in the middle of the table. And we're going to look at a system of aiming a kick shot utilizing this point and this point. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead here and we'll mark that in place. Okay, I'll take that off of there for a moment. We'll be coming back to that in just a few minutes. In order to start recognizing how to aim at a kick shot, the very first thing that you need to understand is the center of these 2 points, this and this. So the center of these 2 points is the very first point you need to measure to. Now, the next thing you need to know is from this point here, directly across, we call it mirror. That's the mirror image of this spot here. Is everybody clear? Okay, so with a one rail kick, we have to find the mirror. So, step one, we have these 2 points. So I put my cue ball back, and we have to find the middle of those 2 points. Step two is we point to the mirror. So far? Now, from that position, if I take this line and bring it straight back to this line, I find the angle in, and that will be perfectly the angle out. Now, here's a couple of ways to try to give you a description of seeing this. First of all, for us as a live audience, I'm going to use a few cue sticks. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to go ahead and put one basically here over the ball. You see those train tracks? Is that perfect? So this becomes the cue that I wanted to parallel to. And it tells me that from this position, aiming here, it's going to end up here. Okay, so one of the simplest ways to learn how to aim at a kick shot, and this entire clinic is going to be about techniques for aiming. So the first thing I would do is I find the middle of these two balls, I then point to the diamond, I pick up my cue, and I parallel shift. And I look and I see where to aim. Now, the number one problem that pool players have when they come to parallel shifting is they either pull the front or they yank the butt. And they don't perfectly move even. So I'm going to teach you a technique that I developed several years ago. It's called the parallel pull. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the white of your ferrule of your cue. And you're going to have to lock your arm. So no matter where you go, your arm doesn't move. So what I do is I pick this up, and as I look through the ferrule, I'm looking for this line on the rail. You see that line? So as long as I am here, I move. As long as I end up with the ferrule, looking through the ferrule, I can see that line. As it cuts through my ferrule, my vision sees the line. So watch this. If I do this, it doesn't even matter if I walk over here and say hi to you, because all I can do is whack back over here, and as long as I line it up through the cue ball, I know I'm still parallel, because that works. So you can use the parallel line pull by just keeping your arm locked in. Another thing you can do is, the reason pool players get in trouble when they swing the cue, you get in trouble and swing the cue because you're tripping over your feet. So I'm going to show you a really cool technique on how to do this. Take this shaft here and put it here, diamond to diamond. You see this? Now from here, pick it up and practice moving 2 diamonds. So you're there. Practice moving 1 diamond. Practice moving 1 diamond. Practice coming back 2 diamonds. Get used to how to move your feet comfortable so you stop tripping over them. When you're tripping over your feet, you don't realize it, you're changing the direction of the butt or the head of the cue. And this is what creates a problem. And so when you thought you were going to kick this ball, you were correct initially, but because you parallel pulled wrong, you can't see the line anymore and you don't even know it. So if you do this, you're straight. Are we square? For those of you who want to use the exact same system, but use the bank rail angle calculator, you see the 3 parallel lines? Everybody sees those lines? So what happens is, when I pick it up, I close one eye, and when I look, the center line is at the diamond of the pocket, the mirror. The right line is looking at the 6 ball, I can see that. And then the left line is looking through the cue ball, and it tells me I aim right there. So using the bank rail angle calculator, I have the ability to just step into the shot. I can step back as far as I want and hold it out here, or step in closer, and I can just hold it closer, and I still get the same spot. So this shows me perfectly in 3 seconds how to see exactly where to hit the rail. So either you do it manually like this, or you can just pull this out and look at it and see it. Okay, the one thing I'm going to add as a bonus for you, some of you advanced players, you all know this is brand new cloth. And brand new cloth does what? What's that big word? Slide. So let me teach you the formula to calculate slide on new cloth. You ready? Whatever the distance is from the bottom rail perpendicular to the ball at the table, this is 1, 2, 3.5 diamonds. You take the width of your cue, and from the point that you're supposed to aim at, you come back perpendicular and you move 1, 2, 3.5 widths of the shaft of your cue. Then you realign the shot. The ball will now recorrect its curve, so when you shoot in with a full speed shot, it will correct and make the ball. All right, you know, it's too late. If you're looking for a training device to teach you to master all of your kicking, banking, and caroms, look no further. This, inside of this case, is the bank rail angle calculator with BRAC technology. Inside of this case, you have the BRAC. The BRAC is designed to give you all the information you need to see your 30-degree carom, your 90-degree caroms, and these 3 vertical lines, all of your kicks and banks. When I just simply look through the glass, I could see precisely through the aiming lines exactly how to see where to make contact on the rail for the perfect angle back to the pocket or back to the ball I'm kicking at. There is a complete training video that comes with your BRAC, and that complete training video is on my YouTube channel. You'll just go right to the drillinstructor.us, right to my YouTube channel. You will find all of a sudden right there how to use your BRAC, the bank rail angle calculator. You'll get your BRAC, and in addition to that, I'll be sending you this bonus card with all of your frozen bank shots. So get your BRAC today with your carry case, attach that baby right to your pool bag, and you're set to go. Get your BRAC today. That's okay, you needed practice too. But listen, if I didn't calculate the slide on this shot, let's do it again. One more time. I remember the spot, that's why I marked it. Let's go ahead and shoot the same shot without the adjustment. But if you're on a table that the adjustment of the cloth is already settled, you understand what I'm saying? Enough people have either smoked around it or it's been played on long enough so it doesn't slide anymore. And there are certain cloths in the industry that are made not to really slide right from the beginning. And you should know who some of those are. So when you show up for competition, you say, hey, what kind of cloth is this? Otherwise, if you don't do it that way, you got to shoot a few shots and figure it out. It's easier to know the cloth than to try to figure it out. I'm just telling you. So here's what happens if you shoot the shot without the calculation and adjustment, okay? Same speed, you'll miss. Because it slid up too high, you didn't give it enough room to slide out and come back. So this is the aiming system on one rail kicking. And I showed you 2, and I'll show it to you one more time. The first system I showed you, perpendicular to the rail, this is what I call this is called my tip pivot system. So 1 to the rail, step 2 to the destination. Step 3, the crossing line of the cue ball to the mirror. Back perpendicular into the rail. And back to the cue ball. And then from here, I aim. Except when you have slide on the cloth, and you're in here, 1, 2, 3. Now understand something, from this position here, I'm actually looking at this alignment here. So when I do this, and this, when I drag that back, I don't want to drag it to here, and I don't want to drag it to here. I want to be right on the line. That's where I pivot in. Because you know why? What's the old story on pirates? Where did the pirates bury their treasure? How do you read the map? X marks the spot. So, X marks the spot, that's where you're going to calculate to hit the rail. Where the X marks. You got that? That's pretty important to know. So, this system allows you very quickly to 1, 2, 3, you'll get used to seeing the perfect line. 4, perpendicular. This is the point where you go 1, 2, 3.5. Then bring it in. From this position here, take the alignment to the 5 ball and pray. It's okay. Right. Because if you didn't compensate, you wouldn't make the shot. So make sure if you're playing on sliding cloth or not, and apply that formula. You'll not find any book anywhere that teaches that. I've created that in order for you to know what you're doing. Are there any questions on one rail kicking?
Real quick, if you rolled that ball, would you go to your natural spot and play instead of...
If you rolled it, you would, because it then was not as affected for the slide. Remember, here's the problem with slide. The cushion is sliding. Do you know that? It's the cushion. Watch this. Let's take this 10 ball, and from this end of the table, down here, watch what the stripe of the 10 ball does. When it hits the rail, watch how long it comes back before it starts rolling. Watch this. I'm just going to put a half a tip of top in order to roll the cue ball so it doesn't skid. And then watch this. It's nearly half the table. If you don't catch that, you can't compensate slide. And what's the formula for compensation of slide, everybody? 1 diamond equals 1 width of the ferrule. And I don't care what size you play with, it's not enough to worry. So if you play with a 12, a 12 and a half, a 13, 11 3/4, it's not enough to care. Just measure 1 ferrule to 1 diamond, unless you're playing with a number 2 pencil. Then you might have to add a little, okay?
I have a question.
And next question, yes sir.
What's the difference between, on that slide, how it reacts when it's a new plug to an old plug?
Okay, now did you just step up?
No, I've been here.
So did you learn the formula, the whole formula to slide? So
That
you?
would be how you stroke it, how fast, and how
It's just a normal, unless you're going to use a 1-speed shot stroke. You know what a 1-speed is, right? What is it?
when you stroke at 1 speed every single time.
No, but it's a good try. It's a good question. It's an important thing to know. Every pool table has 10 speeds. 10. Starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Lagging for the break is a 4-speed. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, and 3 are slow. 4, 5, and 6 are medium. 7, 8, 9 is hard, and 10 is braking speed. A 10 speed is 19 miles an hour. So if you're not even sure how fast you can brake and you don't think you have much of a brake, just do a speed test. It'll tell you exactly what your speed brake is. But from a half a diamond up, let's say we want to do a 5-speed. So where should the ball land for a 5-speed? Middle of the table, right? So when you train your brain to train your body to be able to roll that cue ball up the table and then down the table and then back up the table and stop in the middle, you understand what a 5-speed is, okay? So whether you want to see 7, 8, 2, 6, 9, it doesn't make a difference. If you have to shoot a shot that requires, when you learn my systems, all the drills, and I tell you, you shoot the shot with a 1-speed. That means that you have the ability to take that stroke and come back and forward and back and make that cue ball stop inside the speed zone in the middle of the table. And that's a 1-speed. So, until you learn to master, and by the way, every speed zone has a 2-diamond range. So that's your 1-speed. A 2-speed goes in and comes back out. So that's 2 diamonds. Then a 3 is back here. A 4 goes in and out. And then back to a 5. And then back to a 6. Back to a 7. Back to an 8. Back to a 9. And then 10. And when you practice a 10-speed, go to your braking cue. Otherwise, don't shoot anything harder than a 9-speed with your playing cue, or you're abusing your equipment. Any more questions on that? Now, that's going to help you determine precisely how to adjust. So remember some of the fundamentals of what I've given you so far. Work through these aiming systems. So based on whatever happens during the course of your competition or playing time, you're going to know precisely the system that's necessary to use in order to get the exact result that you have an expectation for. So I'm the drill instructor, Dominic Esposito. Thank you for joining me on this live episode of Drill Instructor TV. And don't forget, if you want the skills, you've got to get the drills. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you on our next episode, okay? So thank you and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Lift your head and hold it high. Lift your head and hold it high. The best in battalion is a passing on by. The best in battalion is a passing on by.